Hello there, and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbit, and today I'm joined by a man who is constantly confused for a Pokemon character, and his name is Mike Roth.
Yeah, it's Squirtle. Out of all the characters,
that was the only one I knew.
I was pulling off Bulbasaur myself, but no, Squirtle.
I don't know what that means.
I actually been playing Pokemon Go a lot. Tons of stuff at Old Brick. All you Pokemon fans.
Oh, do we just pick up an accent?
Yes, I did.
Wow. There we go. Well, there you go. If you're out chasing Pokemon, look for this guy. Get his autograph. That's Mike Roth. This week, we have one big movie to talk about at the box office. So let's get into what's on the marquee. I'm talking about the big movie, Ghostbusters.
I've heard of it.
There's a new Ghostbusters, did you know?
There was an old one?
There's a controversy. They've got ladies as Ghostbusters. Who knew?
Oh, boy.
So we have, I'm so annoyed with people that think that's a big deal. The new Ghostbusters from director Paul Feig put together a cast. Dan Aykroyd had been trying for, 20 years to get another Ghostbusters movie.
Every time he tries, the rumor is Bill Murray puts
Bill
it
Murray
in a shredder.
he just wants no part of it. So they finally scrapped that idea, thankfully. Paul Feig went ahead and said, I got my cast, let's do it. We have our new Ghostbusters. And we have a team of Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones are our new ladies busting them ghosts. And we have...
we also have the new receptionist, which is played by Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth as Kevin, the receptionist. We'll get into that in a moment. Basically, we have a guy named Rowan who has been placing these devices around the city to enhance the spirits, the evil spirits, to come out. And we get to see the origination of this team, which is something we really didn't quite get in the first one. They were already buddies as we met them. This movie, we get to see how the characters build their relationships and kind of form this team as some of them are believers, some of them maybe not so much believers. And they decide to go out and try and bust these ghosts. And it's really interesting to me to watch these characters come together. I like that they didn't try to make them exactly like carbon copies of the previous characters.
Yeah.
They gave them their own things. It's not like Egon's daughter or, that one's the Venkman of the group.
I consider this more of a reboot than a
It
remake.
100% is.
It's the storyline is not the same. It's just the premise that is similar. People complaining that this is a remake, they aren't obviously giving this a chance. You have to see this movie. It is different than the original before you pass judgment.
It takes a lot of winks at the original and dips its toe in the nostalgic, but it doesn't hang out too long.
No.
You know, we see the firehouse. We see things that we're used to seeing, but it says, all right, we're our own thing. We also get cameos from all of the original cast, minus Rick Moranis, who just notoriously refuses to come back.
And Harold.
Harold Ramis is in the movie, though.
His son.
No, Harold Ramis, if you look, there is a statue of Harold Ramis in the lobby of the university,
Well, now I'm going to have to see it.
Where Aaron, Kristen Wiig's character, is working, there's a statue of Harold Ramis, his bust right there in the lobby. So, but you get cameos from all the characters, and they're not playing the characters from the original movies.
No.
They're all new characters. This movie does not take place in the previous universe that we know. I like that. And so, as I said, they go out there trying to take down Rowan and try and figure out what's going on. You've got Kate McKinnon playing this character, Holtzman. She is a mad scientist.
Yeah.
She is crazy and is just experimenting at all times with new weaponry to take down ghosts. She is full-on insane. You don't know what she's going to do. She is amazing.
Quirky.
She's more than quirky. She's more than eccentric. She's insane. I mean, there's great... She steals every scene that she's in.
Oh, yeah. She has this smirk that she pulls off every time someone's talking. And even though Melissa McCarthy might be like talking and stuff like that, I'm always looking to see what...
She's not just standing there waiting for her line. She's constantly doing something, whether she's the lead or not. It's great.
There's a little scene where she's carrying around Pringles, and I kept on thinking, oh, this is really a kind of a product placement. And then you look at her character, and it's like, you know what? No one else could pull off this Pringle gag except for her. Yeah. If it's product placement, awesome. They gave it to the right person.
It was. I like the cast. Look, going into this, I'm not even at all a Kristen Wiig fan. I don't think she's funny at all. And I thought her character playing more or less the straight man in the group, like she had some pratfalls, but she was very much like the one that everything happened to. She wasn't kind of slapsticky. I liked her in this. Melissa McCarthy was good, I thought. Melissa McCarthy's been up and down.
Yeah.
She didn't fall through any tables in this movie. That's nice.
I like the character change. Originally, she was going to be the outsider that they hired to come
Yeah.
in. But the director already placed her in that wild, crazy role and just kind of put her in the Pollyanna, everything's going to be great, I'm a great scientist type thing.
Yeah, it worked. I liked the character of Patty. I thought she was fun. Leslie Jones was really good. I thought the cast, the four of them, worked really well together. They were really fun.
I thought Chris Hemsworth was great in this. I thought
Get
his
off the set.
character
Stop
was
it.
funny.
His
I really
character,
liked it.
You could have written his character out of this movie, and it wouldn't have missed a beat.
See, I thought
He was terrible.
I thought his jokes of how dumb he was
Mike.
yeah.
There's the having no lens in your glasses. That's funny. The cover your ears. We're talking, and he covers his eyes. That's dumb. And he does it twice in the movie. His character was so poorly written, I thought.
I thought his jokes, even though dumb jokes, are pretty much...
he was the worst part of this movie, in my opinion.
I really
Absolute worst. His character, first off, got way too much screen time.
Yeah.
He's the receptionist.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have scenes, multiple scenes written around his character. But he did. And I like the moments where like he's playing like the dumb sex object
Yeah.
for Aaron to kind of drool over. But then at other moments, he's alternately dumb or just a prick to everyone.
Well, that was...
And his character didn't have anything going on. It was just dumb scenes.
Without his character, though, Aaron wouldn't have had any comic relief, because that was the only time she was really breaking a joke where you were laughing at her stuff was either when she was arguing.
Give him those moments, but don't write the other 7 scenes around him. He was a terrible writer for me. That was a bad character. The worst character of the movie.
I did chuckle a lot. I thought his stuff was funny. When he shows all his logos and he has the hot dog just floating over the house. You didn't laugh at that?
No.
No.
No, I did not. This movie cemented the fact that I think Chris Hemsworth and all his brothers need to leave Hollywood because they're terrible actors.
Yeah.
And this proved it.
Well, tell you what, I hate it when he does an accent, and most of his movies I dislike, but
He was bad.
I liked him in this one. This was his role. Play the dumb guy.
Yeah.
That's it.
He struggled with it. Having said all that, I liked the one thing I really liked about this movie was this movie didn't care about the politics that everyone had going into it. A lot of people had issues with it. You're ruining my childhood. Oh, why you got a bunch of ladies in this? That's not my Ghostbusters. This movie never really addressed the fact that, oh, isn't it cool that they're doing it even though they're women? They just said, look at these ladies, look what they're doing. If you have issues with ladies doing it, that's your problem, not ours. I like that fact that it went about it that way and it didn't address that issue that everyone seemed to have, chauvinists seemed to have. I thought it was really good. My only main issues were Kevin was terrible, and I thought the villain was weak. Rowan, he was a weak villain, especially in the pantheon of Ghostbuster villains with Gozar and all of these. Just having a man, first off, was kind of meh. And he disappeared for about a third of the movie, and you really don't notice that he's not in the movie for 30 minutes.
I think he was right up there with Vigo's henchman.
Vigo's henchman's not a good. That's not good.
No, he wasn't. But I was saying, I mean, there we go.
Right. I like Neil Casey as Rowan, but I thought that to really build up great heroes, you have to have great villains, and this was a mediocre villain.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what else did you think of Ghostbusters? What'd you give it?
I gave it a 4.5. I really dig this film. I saw it twice. I saw it once in 2D, once in 3D. Just to let everybody know, they did do something a little funky with the 3D.
Okay.
Where they letterboxed it. So what they did for upcoming DVDs back in the day, they did for this movie so that certain scenes could pop out and go over the black bar, which felt kind of out of place. You could see it flicker every once in a while. It was cheating. And one of the things I loved about the movie is the vibrant use of color. You'd have everything darkened, but when the ghost and the paranormal stuff came out, you had this awesome neon glow, which gets dulled down at the 3D. And I realize this with a lot of movies that are ported over to 3D. Some of the 3D, I love it so much, I just forget about it. But when you watch 3D, it does flush out the color. And I had a huge problem with that with Batman versus Superman, where I couldn't even see what was going on because it was washed out even more. I still love 3D, but this case, go see 2D.
Absolutely. And stay through the credits for this movie because it sets up something really fun.
What did you think?
I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a lot of fun. I went into this with little to no expectations. I was excited for it, despite the cast that I wasn't a huge fan of, and came out loving it. This is my second favorite Ghostbusters movie. It's the original, it's this one, and then it's Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, I'd say it's a huge step over Ghostbusters 2.
It is. It is. Ghostbusters 2 is no great movie. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a really nice update, and I want to see more. I want to see more Holtzman for sure.
Yeah.
I just can't get enough of her.
After the hint that you get after the credits, it really makes you want to see a sequel.
I'm excited for that. So go check it out. Whether if you're holding out, go see Ghostbusters.
If you're holding out because of stupid reasons, then just shut up.
Knock it off. So with that being the only movie we had on the marquee this week, we decided to do a fun little list. And we're talking about reboots and remakes.
Yep.
And there are so many movies. This summer has been a huge summer for reboots and remakes. And some good, some bad. And even the good ones don't necessarily always improve on greatness. A lot of times they remake a good movie and make it a good movie again.
Yeah.
Okay. But what we are focusing on this week, Mike, is we call it second chances.
Yeah.
Talking about movies that improved on their originals when they decide to remake it or reboot it or whatever. That it was an improvement, a well-needed second chance.
Which is always surprising when you take a really bad movie and then turn it into a great movie.
Sometimes there's bones. You can see, we've talked about it before, there's bones to a good movie. They just failed at one point and it made it bad. So having said all that, let's talk about our top 5.
Can we do our bottom? I wanted to do my
your worst
bottom
first?
one. Yeah.
I don't know if we got it set up for that, but okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
let's do number 5.
Let's do number 5.
Let's do number 5.
Okay.
All right, go ahead with your number 5 this week.
My number 5 is Bram Stoker's Dracula. I'm not saying 1931 Dracula is bad, but it is seriously outdated and really didn't follow the book very much. You could watch it and appreciate it for what the movies did back in 1931. But when they redid Dracula in 92 with Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, it was fantastic. You had color, you had meaning. It followed the book very on spot. It's still a great horror film. Sure. It's very stylized for the 90s, but it still holds up. And it's my top 5 of...
Mike's Bram Stoker's worst remakes. Oh, that's not good. We want best remakes.
For people who are listening to this on the radio, nothing bad happened.
So number 5, your best remake. Maybe not best remake, but most improved.
Yeah, most
remake.
improved.
That's what we're going with. All right, so my number 5 might be. Here we go.
Hey!
In the booth. My number 5 is a movie that came out in 1996 starring Eddie Murphy in about 27 different roles, and that is The Nutty Professor, improving on the 1963 Jerry Lewis original.
You don't like the flavor?
I'm not a fan of the Jerry Lewis Nutty Professor. I know it's beloved. People love it. I don't think it's funny. I think it's Jerry Lewis at his most crazy kinetic, and I like the 96 version. A lot of people kind of dump on that one. And look, the sequel was no good.
No.
But that 96 Nutty Professor is a lot of fun.
You know, you just lost our entire French audience.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the French, they love that
you
Jerry
don't
Lewis.
bag on Jerry Lewis.
Right before Labor Day, we do it. But yeah, I dig it. And so that's my improvement on the original.
I agree with you. I did like the Nutty Professor with Eddie Murphy.
All right, your number 4.
Number 4. The original Little Shop of Horrors wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. It's black and white, of course. It doesn't have the same feel, but when they redid it in 1986, they turned it into a musical. They brought in some top-notch comedians. These songs are infectious. This movie, I still love. It's like my top musical, and I'm really not a musical kind of guy. Right. If I have to choose a musical, it's always Little Shop of Horrors. You have Levi Stubbs doing Audrey 2. It's about Seymour, played by Rick Moranis. He gets a plant that's from outer space, and it needs blood from fresh humans, and eventually lives to grow and kind of grants him his wishes of fortune and fame. And you got John Kenny in there, Steve Martin, Bill Murray.
I've heard of those guys.
Those are
We
huge
discussed this
guys.
on a movie throwback at one point.
This is a great, and they even got this cool doo-wop band that kind of stops everything every once in a while and starts it up. It is a huge improvement over the 1960s Little Shop of Horrors. You got to check it out.
I will.
What do you got?
My number 4 is a movie that came out in 2011, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Improving on both the 1968 original and especially that 2001 horrible remake.
I thought you were going to be talking about the Marky Mark one.
Yeah,
but you're not.
I'm talking about this new one and the universe that this new Planet of the Apes universe is now set in that I absolutely love. I think both movies are phenomenal, and this reboot of the franchise that was buried by the 2001 Marky Mark remake.
Yeah.
I really love these Planet of the Apes movies now. And the original ones were okay, but they're pretty cheesy.
Tell you what.
And they get rough real quick.
Yeah. The first one was absolutely fantastic. I still love the original. But yeah, you're right. After that, you had the movie that was a sequel that was supposed to end it all, and they refused to do it. They still made, two more?
Oh, they made, I think, 5 in total?
Yeah, they blew up the planet in the second one, and then they found excuses.
You know what? We like making money. Let's make more.
And then you can't forget about the TV show on top of that. So, yeah, they were...
Check out the 2011 cut of it, because that's a great movie.
That is a great movie.
Indeed. All right, your number 3, sir.
My number 3 is Ocean's number 11.
Oh, I've heard of Ocean's 11, yes.
The original was done back in 1960. It was from the Rat Pack. It was more of a Frank's Friends made a movie. And then in 2001, Ocean's 11 was remade again with George Clooney, Bernie Mac, Brad Pitt, Elliot Gould, Matt Damon.
It was Clooney's friends making a movie.
Pretty much, but it felt so polished. It felt so... complete. This is one of those movies I've seen over and over again. And again, just like all great movies, they beat this one to a horse until it wasn't good anymore. But the original Ocean's 11, or the remake of Ocean's 11, is heads and tails better over the 1960s.
I agree with you. My number 3 is a remake of a movie that came out in 1967. The remake came out in 2008. That's Casino Royale. One of, I think, my favorite Bond movie. Daniel Craig version. Remaking the 1968 version with David Niven and Peter Sellers. That was more a campy kind of parody of a spy movie, of a Bond movie.
Yeah.
And in 2008, they came out and they gave this movie stakes. They gave Bond, they rejuvenated Bond with Daniel Craig and this storyline. And it's a really impactful Bond movie, and I think it's one of my favorites. And it's a way bigger improvement over the original.
I've never seen the original, but I've heard about it. I hear it's like the dark horse that they don't even want to acknowledge exists anymore.
Yeah.
And it was I think it was a loss of production rights or something like that. And
I
it
believe
went to someone else.
So it didn't actually, depending on who you would talk to, it was or wasn't a Bond movie. It would not be counted in the pantheon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the stepchild. And the new one that came out was just phenomenal. So highly recommend that. That is my number 3. Your number 2.
My number 2 is Lord of the Rings. 1978, they made a rotoscope Lord of the Rings cartoon. At the time, it was the longest cartoon ever made, and it looked like they were hurting for animators. There's parts of it where it was actually real people, and they just turned it to red or blue
silly.
or whatever color they wanted to so they could call it a cartoon, but it wasn't. As a kid, I was phenomenally bored with this.
Yeah.
And it would come on every year like it was something special, and every year I'd watch it because I'd watch anything that was a cartoon.
I like cartoons.
Exactly.
Oh, man, I like this.
Oh, I used to watch the beginning of Soul Train all the time just for the cartoon. That's how desperate I was for a cartoon.
We didn't have Cartoon Network back then.
No, we did not. I didn't have cable until I was an adult. But in 2001, Peter Jackson, he remade this thing.
Yes, he did.
And he got a little success off of it.
Did all
That
right.
movie is 4 hours long now, and I enjoy every minute of it.
And we just talked about it fairly recently for
Yeah,
our throwback.
we did.
Yeah, go check out a previous episode of that.
Yeah.
We talked all about it.
And if you ever want to watch it, come over to my house. We will spend a weekend.
There we go. That sounds creepy. My number 2 favorite remake, most improved remake, came out in 1941, remaking a movie that came out 1 decade earlier, The Adventures of Sam Spade. I'm talking about The Maltese Falcon. When they The original one had Ricardo Cortez and Thelma Todd. Ricardo Cortez was Sam Spade, and it's okay. It's all right, but it feels like a movie that they didn't put any thought or anything into. And then you replace that with Humphrey Bogart and Peter Lorre and Gladys George, and it becomes one of my favorite movies of all time. One of the best noir movies ever.
Peter Lorre, he is like one of my favorites.
It's great. The Maltese Falcon, the 41 version with Humphrey Bogart, is just a phenomenal movie. It takes its time. It takes care with the story. And it's great. And you watch the 31 version, and you're like, what? There was first, it took me a long time to even know there was one, and watched it, and yeah, not so much. No, thank you.
Yeah?
I won't rewatch that one. I know that. So
I've never seen the original, but I've seen the Humphrey Bogart one over and over and over again.
Movie.
It's one of those movies that gets quoted and referenced to this day.
Sure.
And that, it was what? It's well over 50 years, right?
1941.
Yeah.
I'm not doing math today, but I think it's 75 years.
That is a long amount of time.
That is. We've reached number one. You're number one, sir.
My number one is Evil Dead. Now, yeah, I like the original, but it's really bad. Everybody who likes the original, it's because it's so bad that
It's
they
a cult
love it.
movie.
It's a cult movie. Yeah. But then they remade it, and it can be argued, and I will just stop you. It was remade as Evil Dead 2, and it's hilarious. It's a great movie. It's one of my favorite comedic horror films. And then
Totally different tone, yeah.
And this was back in '81. Then Sam Raimi picked it up again just recently, 2013. Yep. He made it back into a scary movie again. It's polished. It's deep. It is fantastically gory and creepy all at the same time. A huge heads and tails better than the original. But I love Evil Dead 2 and the new one equally. They're both two different
very different movies.
Animals.
Both are phenomenal, though. I agree. My number one is a movie that you mentioned a little earlier, and that is Little Shop of Horrors. Improving on that 1960 original, the Roger Corman original. It was a C-grade movie. I mean, it was really campy. It was really, I mean, it's another cult movie, like if you're watching it. But when Frank Oz took the rights to it and made this version, and you had Rick Moranis, you had Ellen Greene and her amazing voice. I love listening to her sing.
Oh yeah.
And it's so much fun, and like you say, it's one of my favorite musicals. It's great, and they really hit the jackpot with their guest stars that they got into this movie. It's just a who's who of who was great in 1986 and continued to be great.
And none of those guys phoned it in. I could picture the Bill Murray's dentist scene over and over again, and I laugh.
And it could have been like, look, we're acting in this goofy movie with this animatronic type of plant. This is dumb. No. They went all in for it, and it pays off, and that's why it still holds up all these years later. And I love it. That's my most improved remake.
I'm really surprised people don't talk about that more.
It's a good movie.
People do talk about their worst ones.
Let's talk about some worst ones real quick. I want to know what your worst remake was.
The worst remake.
There's so many to choose from.
I love Clash of the Titans from 1981. The only thing they needed to do was polish it. Just polish it.
Love some Harry Hamlin. That's on record.
Get rid of your claymation. You know, let's polish it. And Louis Latour. He totally destroyed this movie. In 2010, I was so excited to go see it. Midway through the movie, I saw red. I wanted to leave, but I was with company. They took the best part of Clash of the Titans, which is a story, and threw it out, made fun of it, and then made something worse. And
that movie is some of the most offensive 3D that I've seen in a theater.
It is terrible. It is terrible. It's so bad.
That was the first time I realized, you know what? I don't like 3D. I'm not paying for 3D anymore.
I dislike this movie so much. I keep on thinking Michael Bay made this, but
you wouldn't be far off.
He did not make it.
It seems like something he would, though.
It really does. It has a feeling. Hate that movie, by the way.
There you go. My worst remake, the remake that didn't need to be done, the remake that just it was a dumb idea going forward from the get-go, and turned out exactly as you would expect. That is 1998 Psycho. We're going to do a shot-for-shot remake of one of the greatest, most perfect movies ever made. At best, we might be able to kind of capture what Hitchcock did. At worst, you get what we got.
Yeah.
And that is Vince Vaughn and Anne Heche trying desperately to keep up with the material, and it was just an unnecessary and unimaginable failure.
Tell you what, the sequels really didn't give the original.
I like Psycho 2.
Yeah?
Psycho 2 was all right. I mean, it's not Psycho, but it's okay.
They totally are bringing back the franchise, though, with the Bates Motel.
True
That
enough.
is an excellent series. Everybody should check that out. Watch the original Psycho, and then watch the series. Try to forget everything except for 2. You want to? Everybody
Two's
go
okay.
see the 2.
Two's
It's
okay.
okay.
So those are our best and worst, our most improved and least improved remakes of all
Yes.
time. And Ghostbusters is a good movie, we're saying.
It's a great movie.
Thumbs
Go out
up.
and see it.
Some other movies we're going to be talking about soon, coming soon, the week of July 27th and 29th. We have a couple of different release dates. First up, July 27th, we have Nerve, starring Dave Franco. It's a weird movie.
I'm looking forward to it.
It looks like Daft Punk directed a movie is what it looks like.
It looks totally like an MTV production, but I'm looking forward to it anyhow.
Yeah. You have to go and follow the orders that are given to you to keep getting money. It feels like a game show that I might be watching in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. July 29th, we have the newest comedy, Bad Moms, starring Kristen Bell and, boy, I can't pull her name now, from that 70s show. Somebody just blanked out. But about a bunch of moms who are just sick and tired of trying to live that PTA mom lifestyle. Christina Applegate is in this as the head of the PTA, and it's just a whole cast of comedians, and it looks like a lot of fun. It looks funny to me.
I'll see.
You're not a mom.
No, I guess not.
That's
Neither
next
are
week's
you.
fact for you. Mike Roth is not a mom. And the final movie we have coming out on the 29th is the sequel that we never thought we were going to get. That is Jason Bourne. Matthew.
It's
Matt
all right.
Damon.
It's been hot outside.
His mom named Matthew. I'm going to call him Matthew. Matt Damon returns to the franchise and fills back into the role of Jason Bourne, and he's out there trying to figure out what's going on with the help of Julia Stiles. And he's got Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
He's got Alicia Vikander, who we love.
I hear he only has 27 lines.
25 lines. That kind of worries
That's
me.
that's
That kind
crazy.
of worries me. Like, how much is he in the movie?
But you know how many lines was in The Artist, and we all both like that.
You're always looking at the bright side. I like it. There's also a movie coming out Monday, July 25th, that is a one-night-only special event Fathom showing. That is Batman: The Killing Joke. They're showing it only that night at 7 and 10 all across the country.
We
Mike
will be
and I are both
reviewing
going to
it.
go check that out as well. And where are we going to see it? I'll tell you where we're going to see it. We're going to see it at our sponsor, Marcus Theaters. We're going to go to the Palace to watch this.
Oh, that was smooth.
Oh, boy. The Palace. You know what's smooth? Those dream loungers when you're
Oh.
relaxing to watch your Killing Joke. Yeah, thank you to Marcus Theaters. Thank you to the Palace for sponsoring the show. We do appreciate it. We look forward to seeing all these movies in your theater the next week. If you want to find more from us, if you want to get a hold of us, you can. You can find us on Facebook. Just search Real Reviews TV. We're on there. Like us and talk to us there. Or if you're more of a Twitter kind of person, you can find us on Twitter at Real Reviews TV. We're always posting different things there. If you want to find previous episodes, we have a YouTube channel. You can find us. Search Real Reviews KSUN, KSUN. That's our network right here. That'll find you some
Find
things.
every single one of our episodes
Oh
at
my
the Sun website.
KSUN.TV, you'll find, I think, 120 episodes.
And if you live in the Sun Prairie area,
Epicenter? Yes.
epicenter, if you're
the
at Ground
epicenter.
Zero, you can hear us on the radio on 103.5.
Yeah, you can. Just go to sunprairiemediacenter.com or KSUN.TV.
That's-
You'll find a schedule. You can find out everything you need there.
And as far as I know, I think you could still watch our show in like Madison, Atlanta,
We're all over
Boise,
the
stuff
place.
like that. Yeah, we're kind of all over the
Big
place.
in Maine, I hear.
We're huge
Yep.
in rural areas.
Oh, man. What are we talking about next week, Mike? Next week, we've got 3 movies to talk about. We've got Lights Out, the new horror movie.
I am looking forward to that
That'll be our next
immensely. And
next
we
week's
also
show.
have our new Star Trek movie.
Star Trek Beyond.
We have our prehistoric Ice Age.
Oh, Ice Age.
And we have a little
Collision Course.
throwback that we're not going to tell you right
No.
now, but you are going to be surprised.
Keep that under your hat. But we're going to be talking all about all of that stuff next week right here. Don't forget to tune in. But until that time, my name is Jameson.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.